Good morning. This is Susan Matson, Master Gardener from Candy, Ojai County. I'm at the New London Spicer Middle School this morning with a group of 8th graders in the greenhouse. These students are assisted by Teresa Copley to my left. Teresa has organized the class that are working here in the greenhouse planting lettuce that are used in the school lunch program. So I'm going to introduce each student, and each one will have a question to answer, discuss the plants that are here, and how the project came about. So we'll start out today with Sophia. And Sophia, what is the purpose of the greenhouse?
The greenhouse is a learning environment for learning how to save energy and use more solar energy. We use it to grow lettuce for our school's cafeteria, and to get students interested in eating fresh greens. And it is a way to use less fossil fuels and not transport goods from California. And this lettuce is fresh, nutritious, and locally grown, and it's not packaged, and it goes straight to our lunch lines.
And next we have Peyton. How is the solar energy in the building used?
This is a passive solar system which takes advantage of convection currents. The sunlight streams through the plexiglass and heats the surfaces, which warms the air and causes it to rise up to the ceiling ducts. These ducts have squirrel fans which force the warm air down under the rocks. This heat is stored in several feet of gravel on the floor during the day, and it escapes at night when the air cools. We keep the greenhouse at a minimum of 40 to 50 degrees. If we have a series of cloudy days, we run small space heaters.
Good. Jaron, where did this greenhouse design come from?
The 2012-2013 YES team went to a workshop where Chuck and Carol Wiebel presented a design for growing produce in a cold northern climate. They have a book called Deep Winter Greenhouse, which gives details about this design. The 2012-2013 YES team received a $1,500 grant to get the project started, and our ag teacher, Mr. Tebben, raised enough money, mostly from farm organizations, totaling about $20,000, to build this with the summer class of 2013.
A wonderful idea. And next we have Brady. What do you use for planters and soil?
We use standard rain gutters from Menards, and Mr. Tebben's class cut them in half and drilled holes in the bottom of them and glued the end caps on. This year we're trying a nesting idea where the top trough has large holes with Pellin fabric in the holes woven through to wick the moisture from the bottom trough. And we use potting for the potting soil. We use Mississippi topsoil from Cold Spring, which is produced using environmentally sustainable and all natural ingredients.
Now we'll go on to Sage. How did you decide what lettuces to plant, and when do you start them?
The greenhouse was too hot in the fall when school started, so we had to wait until about mid-October before it was cool enough in here to start growing lettuce. We planted the fast-growing varieties first, like Spring Mix and Gourmet Blend, so we would be able to start harvesting before winter break. The slower varieties like Butter Crunch and Bib lettuce last longer and will be good for picking until mid-March.
So you've got lettuces for the school program until mid-March, right? Good. All right, Lily, why lettuce and not tomatoes and peppers?
Well, lettuce grows well in cooler conditions in the limited light of the winter. And photosensitive crops like tomatoes and peppers require longer period of daylight and hotter temperatures. We have radishes in the raised beds, which are also used in the cafeteria. And we tried peas, which grew well but were not naturally pollinated since we don't have insects in here. And spinach grows well in cool conditions but is photosensitive, so we are composting used soil from the lettuce troughs in an area outside where we will plant a fall crop of spinach.
And we have Allison. What challenges have you had with the lettuce project, and how do you water the plants?
Mr. Tebben and his FFA and landscape class do most of the watering. It is a bit tricky to water enough, but not too much. The weather patterns in the last 2 winters seem to favor cloudy cold weather opposed to sunny cold weather. Cloudy cold weather produces mold in here. We have had to run a dehumidifier and kick up the heaters a bit. We rotate planters toward the front to maximize the sunlight for all the troughs. The sun, however, can get too hot and scorch the lettuce. Mr. Tebben also modified the insulation around the base to keep the moisture from collecting in corners and producing mold.
And lastly, Teresa. So the Yes is growing the lettuce. Are there any other groups that are using the greenhouse?
Yes, the FFA and landscaping classes are experimenting with our hydroponics, which is this behind me. And they'll be starting to grow plants and flowers when it gets too hot for our lettuce. And then we will start to plant under a grow light in the classroom, and we'll be finished off in here. Also, science classes that focus on energy are given in here, and tours for other schools are also in here.
And you just finished a tour for Lac Opal?
Yep.
And how many students actually showed up?
Oh, there were like 9 from the...
Yeah, 9 students and the Yes leader.
Yep, so 9 and their Yes leader, and then all of us, and yeah.
I think they have a greenhouse out there, don't they? At
Yes.
Newland, or at Lac Opal.
Lockheed Parle built their greenhouse at the same time we did. Their strategy is a little bit different. They have a lot of hanging plants and they use vertical space, but they don't produce the volume that we do. So they wanted to come and see how we were doing it. We have an advantage with sharing the greenhouse with multiple programs, and that gives us more student contact out here. And they're running it only through one biology class, so it's a little more challenging for them. But these 7 students are half of the Yes team. Yes stands for Youth Energy Summit. And I have a new team every year. So this is the 2015-16 team. This is the gardening half of the team, and then the other team is working on alternative energy projects of a different sort. So this is our local foods growing project, and we will be starting the raised bed, or the starts for garden starts upstairs, and then finish them off in here when it gets hot in the spring.
So this is a group that is working with you for the whole year to produce this. And I was just wondering how you actually select some of the varieties of lettuce, because I was walking around, I was looking at the names of some of the lettuce that you use. Do you just arbitrarily pick lettuce plants? It looks like you're starting them from seed, but do you have some favorite varieties that the students like, or do you just experiment?
Some of the varieties we discontinued that got bitter, and the ones that seem to maintain the best flavor are the Bib lettuce, Caesar, oak leaf, the romaine. The earlier ones grow fast, but now we're finished with, we have a couple troughs of Simpson lettuce that we'll take out of here now because they're done. And but we mostly look for what thrives, and we just went across, picked every kind of lettuce we could find, and go from there.
So is this a competition? When you talked about submitting some of these things for is it just for other people to view, or do you actually get some results from an outside source?
We are supported by several organizations. The Southwest Initiative Foundation puts up money for the YES teams across Southwest Minnesota, and there's a number of other organizations that have supported us with grant money. The McKnight Foundation gave us $1,000 to start light tables in the elementary school because this team was real interested in working with elementary students. So we're getting garden starts over there, mostly herbs, and so that money is going into, we have Mr. Harrier's class is building the light stands for us, and we're going to get the lights and the potting pellets, and then these kids will go over, the 8th graders will go over and help the probably 2nd grade get the starts going. But we have to have measurable results, and we have to have something to show for any money we spend, and it's not a competition, it's actually called a co-opetition because we really are interested in sharing ideas with other teams, and that's but we do put together a PowerPoint when we're all finished at the end of the year, and then we have a collection of these over the years.
Well, I would really like to thank Teresa Copley. We've met with her 3 years. This is our 3rd year now out here. It's very impressive. The Master Gardeners always enjoy working with younger people, with young students especially, to get them interested in growing in the future. So to end our program, thank you to everyone here. And we will see you next month with another program.